I wanted to talk about a Les Paul Refret job that I did. This is a really nice axe. It's a 1972 Les Paul Deluxe. The frets were worn down to the point where they really needed to be replaced. So what I'd like to do is walk through the process, removal of the frets and their replacement, and then dressing the frets. So there are a lot of special tools that are required to do refret work. A lot of them can be acquired from Stuart McDonald. I think there are other vendors that also provide tools. One of the things that you really want to be careful of is that when you get your fret wire shaped, that it has to have the right shape before it goes into the guitar neck. So that's really a key thing to keep in mind. So what we see here is the neck of the guitar, the fretboard after the frets have been pulled. There's a little bit of damage to the rosewood on this neck. That's pretty typical from the tangs of the frets, even with the most delicate effort of pulling out the frets. And we see also that this is a fingerboard that's been heavily customized. It's been scalloped purposely to give really heavy bending capability on. A lot of blues musicians prefer this kind of thing. Look at the progression here. This is the rough cut to length of some of the fret wires, and it's very important to get the shape crowned up so that you start, when you're going to put in a replacement fret wire, you need to get a radius that's going to cause the center to be a little bit proud, so that when you drive these in against your refretting block, you can get a nice proud surface in the center, and as you knock that in, it locks down. So there's special tools required for all of this. There's basically some end cutter pliers that can be acquired through Stuart McDonald, or a number of places that specialize in these kinds of guitar repair tools that allow you to pull out the frets. And here you see that I've started laying up the frets, starting to psych out where each of them should go. Notice they're cut oversized, and what I'll do is undercut the tangs of the frets so that they will lie within the binding. You want to be sure when you knock the frets into the fretboard that you don't cause the binding to be damaged in any way. But you do want the fret wire to overlap, and then you cut it back and file it. This gives you a better view of the body of the guitar. I've completed refretting it, and what remains is to dress those frets. Good lighting is really important when we're doing this. We want to be able to check the form. There are a number of tools that are used when we check our work as we go along. Well, this fret job is pretty near complete, and one of the things I like to do with all of these projects that I work on is I actually make very careful precision measurements on the location of each fret wire, and then I plot those out based on the deviation from the ideal scale length calculation. So I do all the calculations and compare the values that I've actually measured to the center of the fret wire relative to where the calculations say that they should be. One of the other things I'd like to note for you here is there's a lot of literature out there talking about pros and cons of using adhesives, and even with a really nice tightly fitting fret wire in your fretboard, it's a good idea to have some kind of crazy glue or super glue to make sure that you hold that fret wire down. This gives us a nice perspective of the finished job. We've gone in and we've done some dressing of these frets. It's in pretty good shape, and we've got a nice view of the scalloping of the fretboard. Scallop fretboards of this nature really let you bend those notes. So that's a refret job on a nice vintage 72 Les Paul Deluxe. Talked a little bit about what's involved in removing the frets, replacing them. It's real important that we do a proper job with a vintage instrument like this. And we also took a look at some of the dressing of the frets and what's involved in treating the fretboard properly.